Hey everybody, hope you had an awesome Christmas and an even better New Year's, guys. We are through the holidays. The holidays for me are always such a friggin' crazy time, and honestly, when they're over, I get kind of excited. I'm a huge Christmas guy, I love it, but when it's over, I'm kind of ready to get back into my routine and just get back to my regular life. Even though I love my family, I love my friends, at the end of the holiday, it's just like my social battery's drained. I'm just ready to honestly get back to work. So I wanted to make a video today to discuss two things that I read in articles in the Toronto Star. They relate to real estate. I thought that you would find it interesting. The first one I'll share with you. The second one is going to be about international students and how we are not accepting that many into our market and how I think that affects the real estate market. Kind of interesting. But the first thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is called the Flexplex. So I read an article in the newspaper talking about a builder that just released this new product called the Flexplex. Now the idea of this house is that from the street, this property looks like a single family detached beautiful home, but from the inside, you can either make it a single family home, you can make it a duplex, you can make it a triplex, or you can make it a 4-unit house. They can build houses that have up to 8 bedrooms and 4 kitchens, meaning that 4 families could live there, or you could rent out all these different units in your house, or you could buy it as an investment. Kind of a cool idea. A few problems with it maybe that you might hit. Maybe they have an answer for how to work around this. I did a little bit of research into the company and I read the article and I couldn't find anything specifically kind of relating to the problem that I could imagine. When we built our triplex in Georgetown, that was an existing house that we bought. Right? We didn't tear something down and build up from the ground. We bought an existing house. And right as soon as we bought that house, Bill 23 was just passed, and that's the More Homes Faster bill. And what that allowed us to do was add 2 additional dwellings to the unit. So we have the main single family house and we're adding 2 units. Before Bill 23, we could only add 1 unit, making it a duplex. Now you can make it a triplex. And we didn't have to do any zoning changes for that. But the interesting thing was when I was inquiring with the town, when I was inquiring with the city, they wouldn't allow me to rip that down and build a brand new triplex. But they would allow me to build a single family dwelling, and then later on, if I wanted to, I could convert that to a triplex. So I'm not sure how they get around this with this Flexplex building that they're talking about. Not sure how they get around that because these are proposed as brand new buildings. So that would be something that you would hit. And then also if you're building a 4-plex, I'm not exactly sure how that would work because right now the way that zoning is with, let's say you go buy a house in a regular neighborhood, you're gonna have a low density residential zoning on that lot, which would not comply with a 4-plex. So I don't know how they're gonna get around that issue. Having a zoning change can be pretty costly and can be time consuming. Albeit it can be successful and it can work, but it's something that takes a lot of money and a lot of effort, and I didn't really notice anything mentioned about that in the article. But I know that there's a huge demand for something like this, and this sort of product would fill a massive niche in the market. And really that niche is going to be growing. So I think it's a great idea for this builder to come out with this and showcase to people, this is what I build. Obviously they can get away with it, although the house in the article was only a duplex. I still think this is a great idea, and having a little bit of media on a product like this is good for our market because people are talking about the affordability being difficult. If the affordability is difficult for you, buying something where you can house hack, you live in the house, you rent out a couple other units or you rent out a couple other bedrooms, maybe they have another kitchen, that's gonna generate some amazing income. And that takes us to our next point, the next article that I wanna share with you, which is about really there's not that much rental inventory available in the GTA. So the next article that I want to share with you is about international students. So there's a lot of international students that are being accepted to Canadian schools. The problem is the Canadian government won't approve them to move here. So in the article here, it states that 866,000 students internationally were accepted to Canadian schools. And out of the 866,000, only 470,000 or 54% were actually approved by the government of Canada for them to come live here. Now, when you first read this article, it talks a little bit about the financial incentives and how great the revenue is that these international students generate for these schools. But really, when you think about it, who does that serve in our marketplace? Who does that serve in our economy? What would better serve people in our economy most likely would be if we had more housing. Housing is Canadians' biggest expense, and if we could do something to reduce that, it's really going to have a positive impact on most people's life. So when I first read this article, I thought, okay, 866,000 were approved by schools. Canada only approved 470 to actually come here. That's a difference of 400,000 people. That means another 400,000 rooms, apartments, house rentals for people that are actually Canadian citizens. In a market where people are fighting tooth and nail just to get a rental, the rental prices are skyrocketing. It's very tough to find one. People are renting. I just saw on Facebook the other day, somebody was renting the top bunk of a bunk bed in a room, which really isn't funny. We need more inventory. I'm sure that there are other ways that these students not coming into our economy, I'm sure that there's other ways that would have a negative impact on our economy. I'm sure that there's a certain percentage of them that end up staying in the country and become a positive impact on our economy after that. I'm sure there's lots of things to look into for that reason, but really in the short term, we have a lack of supply and we have too much demand. Right? We have a lack of supply, there's not enough rentals, and too much demand. Everybody wants one. They can't afford buying a house right now, let's say. They don't want to be at their mom and dad's house anymore, and they are going out and trying to rent something. So that's going to create a massive increase in prices, and we need to fix this issue. Now, there's only a couple ways we can fix this issue. The first is we create more supply. We need to build more rentals. We need to make it easier for people to build rentals. But this takes time. The other thing we can do is we can do what we can to sort of taper off demand. One thing that we can do to do that, we can maybe have less international students. That wouldn't be a bad thing for our real estate market. Again, I'm looking at this issue only with the perspective, only with the lens of a real estate agent and a real estate investor and somebody who just wants to make it easier for Canadians to afford their day-to-day life. So when I read this article, I thought, 400,000 people not coming in and bidding on our rooms for rent, on our apartments for rent, and on our houses for rent, that may not be as bad of a thing as the article maybe made it sound. So those are the two articles, guys, that I wanted to share with you quickly today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you guys had an awesome holiday. Please subscribe to my channel. I would love that. 2024 is gonna be an awesome year. Show me that you agree by hitting the subscribe button, give the video a like, and leave me a comment. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you for watching the video.